Hi YouTube family, it's Gabby and welcome to my channel. Today I really wanted to come through and talk about that video that's been circulating through YouTube by Isis, the new trophy wife, I Married a Monster. It's been going through my feed and showing up over and over and over again, and I've been pushing it off because honestly I was not in a mood to be sad. I was not in a mood to be sad, and so I was kind of like, I will get to it eventually. But today is the day. So I've been watching quite a few other videos reacting to it. And when I finally looked at it, it made me really sad to see how many people were victim blaming this woman. Now, if you're not aware or if you haven't seen the video yet, you definitely need to see it. Her handle is the new trophy wife. From my understanding, she's a content creator who is more popular on TikTok than she is on YouTube. I looked at her other content after seeing this video because obviously we're hearing about how her husband has abused their children together. And I really wanted to see if prior to this there had been any, red flags. I'm pretty sure everyone else went through and looked at her rest of her content to kind of see what else we could see. And people are mad because her content up until this point has been her giving advice to women about how to be elegant and being a stay at home mom and meeting a provider, dating richer men, things of that nature. And so they feel as if, or they have been, people on YouTube and online in general have essentially been shaming this woman, saying this is what she gets because she is out here trying to stunt and flex and act like she did so well by being with the man who was providing for his family. Like, what? Before we get into that, let me back up. So, first of all, this woman posted a video, Isis. She posted a video saying that she married a monster. So she goes into it pretty much saying how her daughter, her 4-year-old daughter, who she has with her husband, she noticed some swelling in areas where you would not have swelling or you should not have swelling as a 4-year-old. And so she got immediately scared. She asked her daughter, who did that? Her 4-year-old daughter said, Daddy, which I imagine is very heartbreaking. She then took all of her children to the hospital by giving the excuse to her husband that she needed to go and take them Halloween shopping with her sister. Now, I guess some backstory about her. She's a stay-at-home mother. That's what it seems like, a stay-at-home mother, stay-at-home mother content creator. And prior to meeting her husband, she was a single mother of 2 boys. So she met him. I watched the video where she said how they met, and she said essentially they met on eHarmony online. After a week of dating, they got married. Now, yes, a week of dating to marriage, that's pretty quick. That's pretty quick, even for me. And I got married. Well, I got engaged after 3 months of being with my now husband. So he proposed to me after 3 months. So I mean, and I will attest to the fact that, like I just said, that's pretty quick. That is in fact pretty quick. But people are trying to say that this is a red flag. Okay, I'll put a pin on that. So they're also saying that it's a red flag that they're also saying it's a red flag that her husband is 20 years older than her. I'll put a pin on that as well. I don't think that it's a red flag that, one, he's older than her. I don't think it's a red flag that they were married really quickly. I think this man is a monster because, yes, she's a single mother, but whether or not she was a single mother, he would still have done this. And I'm saying this because you can't tell me that a man does this to his own biological children. And this is something that she could have been able to tell since he's deciding to date a single mother of 2 children. The two schools of people who are upset on the internet are Black men and Black women. I'm noticing the Black women are segmented between either the Black women who are also single mothers who are not able to attract the kind of man that will take care of them, and also, or who felt shamed, I guess, by her content because they felt like she was essentially living a lifestyle they could never attain. And then there's the other school of Black women are who are the older Black women who are shaming her because they're saying, why would you aspire to this type of lifestyle? This is what they kind of fought against so that women didn't have to have traditional lifestyles. And I say, how dare you? Why is the internet victim blaming? This girl is a single mom of two kids. She said in a video that the video of how they met, she said that she was dating someone else. He did not treat her children the way she wanted them to be treated by a man who she's with. And so she left that man. And this man, on the other hand, was treating them better, made her feel as if he actually cared about the kids. And because of that, she chose this man. So this man is a predator. Like, we're sitting here victim blaming when this man is an actual predator. It doesn't matter that she's a single mother because he would have done this to any woman. I say that because, first of all, he did this to his own biological children that he had with her. So she had two previous children, two sons. Then they have a 4-year-old daughter together and a 2-year-old daughter together, and then a newborn. He did this to the 4-year-old and the 2-year-old, which are his biological children. So, regardless of the fact that she was a single mom, it's not like he did this to her children or children she brought into the marriage. He didn't do this to them. He did this to his biological children. So even if he would have married a woman who was not a single mother and they just had bio kids, he would have done this to them as well. Like, this man is a predator. On top of that, in the video, she said that she was a victim of SA from him in the marriage. And not just from him, but prior to that, she had been a victim of abuse growing up by a neighbor's husband. So you have a woman who actually, back up. She said she was the product of grape. Her neighbor's husband abused her when she was younger, and then her husband abused her in the marriage. The internet and YouTube's trying to say that this woman should have left as soon as he raped her. The first time, let's be real. Let's be so for real. First of all, okay, the amount of women who are victimized in their marriages who stick around are astonishing. As a matter of fact, a lot of these predatory men will act perfect up until the point when they are in the marriage, and that's when they choose to actually show the other side of their personality, who they really are. So we are being disingenuous when we tell a woman who's a victim that, well, you should have left, you should have, because the truth is a lot of women every day stay with men who are abusers. In addition to that, telling a woman that she should have vetted him. So when exactly was she supposed to be able to fortune tell? What part of his personality prior to him being married was she able to foresee would result in him abusing his own daughters? And once the internet determines what part of his personality she was able to use to determine that he was going to be an abuser to his own daughters, I need you guys to go ahead and also tell therapists, police officers, all the rest of law enforcement, including social workers, those characteristics so we can make sure that they prevent grape and SA for all of the children in the world. Because I'm pretty sure if there was a way to pinpoint certain personalities and predators, they would have already done it. Yes, there's a profile for predators, but generally these type of sociopathic men do not show these parts of their personality when you're dating them. They wait until they have you in a marriage or locked down in a dependent situation before they show these parts of themselves. So to me, for people to victim blame her, to say she should have left, there are women who are in DV situations as we speak especially black women, because black women deal with DV situations far more than other races of women. We also are killed more because of it. So we're sitting here blaming a woman who was in a what seems to be bordering on DV. It seems like he showered her with gifts, did all the things a provider is supposed to do, and essentially he reared his ugly little abuser head a little bit. He probably said sorry, gave her more gifts. She stuck around because she has kids with him, and at this point, they built a family unit together, and she feels like, oh well, he won't do it again, but then he did it again because that's what DV predators do. They do it again, and you're in a vicious cycle of him graping her, apologizing, giving her gifts, and the internet wants to say that this is what she gets because she didn't leave him. Meanwhile, meanwhile, Cassie's a victim, even though she wasn't married to Diddy, and Cassie's allowed to be a victim. She's allowed to actually say, "Wow, he victimized me. Wow, he groomed me. This girl's 20 years younger than him. She met him in her 20s. I'm not shocked that a woman in her 20s wasn't able to actually properly vet a man. The amount of women who in their 20s ended up single mothers because they weren't vetting men. Like, why are we acting like just because she fell for a predator and married him that she's at fault for what happened to her children? Like, this is upsetting because I think we as a community need to have a bigger conversation of why Black women are not allowed to be victims ever. Anything that happens to us is our fault. If a young Black girl is hurt, touched, great, she was being fast. If a woman who's a stay-at-home mother who went from being a single mother to a stay-at-home mother, if she is then put in a situation where she's raped in her marriage, it's her fault because he had money. So women should expect that men who have means are going to grape them and touch their kids. Like, what are we really saying here? Why is it that I see more videos trying to villainize her and say, aha, that's what you get, than I see videos talking about how much of a monster he was and how he's a predator? Because, yes, men like this are sociopathic predators. There are pastors who purposely will pick and choose and go after single mothers in order to victimize their children. But then it's the mother's fault because why would she trust a pastor? There are uncles who are doing this. But then it's the mother's fault because why would she trust the uncle with her kids? She has to work, but why would she trust her uncle with her kids? Why would you leave anybody unattended with your kids? Okay. So then you can't trust an uncle. You can't trust a pastor. You can't trust a child's father now. So it's the mom's fault that the child's father is an abuser. Is that what, like, when is it ever the man's fault? And I'm looking at this girl's content. How is she stunting? How is she showing off? Like, I think there's something to be said about the fact that white women and women of other races are allowed to actually be victims and be vulnerable and actually, I wouldn't even say this was a mistake because it wasn't like she sought out and, like, we're now saying that dating is being reckless. Like, that's where I'm having a problem with this. So dating is being reckless. Being love bombed is her fault. Like this man, based on how she recounts how they met and certain things, yes, I see where people are saying, well, she should have known. But I see where people are saying there were red flags, but I don't see how people are saying she should have known that that would lead to this. Like, I don't see the highway from being married after a week, 20-year age difference, him being a provider turns into this. Like, I don't see how that's a direct highway to this. I think I would see it more if the result had been her previous children being hurt, because then I could say, okay, he saw those children, he wanted those children, and as a result, she should have been paying attention to how he is with her children. I would agree with that. Like I could see you guys' perspective if this had happened to her children outside of him. But this he did to his own children. So that is where I don't see how she could have been able to foresee that he was a deviant who would look at his own children in that way. Like, where would she have been able to tell? How? And we need to discuss as a community why Black women are never allowed to be victims, why Black women are always having to be super duper strong and always having to be the one who takes the blame and takes the fall for anything a Black man does. And honestly, even if it was a white man, they would have said, oh, it's because you're with the white man. Like, either way, it's like it's always the Black woman's fault. Meanwhile, other women can fall victim to these things and fall victim to swindlers and fall victim to abusive men, and they just were a victim. They it wasn't their fault. Oops. He's a horrible person. Like, but if it's a Black woman, then she should have known better. Like, what is this? What is this? I support this woman, and my heart goes out to her and her children, because this is something that is the scariest thing I could think of ever happening. I just had my first child with my husband, and the idea that this could happen, it really triggers me, because again, I think it would be a lot less of a I think I would be a lot more, I don't know what to say. Sorry. I think I would understand it a lot more if it weren't for the if it did not, if they were not his kids. Because, and it's wrong either way, but I think I could conceptualize what she could have done to prevent it if they were not his children. But because they are his children, I just don't see how she could have done anything to prevent this. Like, I don't see it. And she even said, she's like, she's very particular. She doesn't like them sitting on people's, doesn't like the girls sitting on people's laps. She's very like protective. And I know I come from a situation my mother was like that. Mom was very protective of me because she had a fear of the world when it came to me. And like, when you're an adult, you see why your parents are like this. And this is so unfortunate, because you hear about these situations, and it's like you can try to do everything you can, and it be the people inside of your own home that you're having to protect your kids from. That's so scary. But anyways, tell me what you guys think. I know that I'm probably one of the few people who are even on her side, because based on a lot of these commentary videos that I'm watching, they're all pretty much on the side of the fact that she's an idiot and she should have known better, and that's what she gets for wanting a man who provides for his family. And she should have dated, based on the fact that she should have dated somebody who was fine, and it's because he's ugly. And like, it's just, people are crazy. But anyways, tell me what you guys think. Tell me um if you agree, you disagree, and if you saw the video, and honestly how you felt watching it, because it really tore me up. It really did. But yeah, Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, this is crazy. But yeah, and check out the rest of my content. Thank you.